Good evening. Tonight we're going to read our question. What does it mean that the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at the right hand? Psalms 110:1. And how does the New Testament writers use this verse to explain who Jesus is? The word themselves in Psalms 110, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thine footstool. David, under the Spirit's leading, is speaking of someone greater than himself. He calls him my Lord. That someone is powerful because no king of Israel would ever call his son Lord. This is pointing to the Messiah, to Christ, who is greater than David, though he came through David's line. The right hand of God. To sit at the right hand means the highest place of honor, authority, and power. In ancient kingdoms, this the one at the king's right hand shared his true rule. So when Christ is seated at the right hand of God, it shows his victory, his authority over all, and his equality with the Father. It's not a lower seat, it's a seat of sovereignty. Jesus himself used this verse in Matthew 22:41 through 46. Jesus asked the Pharisees, what think ye of Christ? Whose son is he? They answered, the son of David. Then he asked them how David, by the Spirit, calls him Lord. They had no answer. Jesus was showing them that the Messiah is not just David's descendant, but David's Lord, fully man and fully God. The apostle point back to it. Peter used this verse in Acts 2:34 through 36. On the day of Pentecost, he said David didn't ascend into heaven, but David spoke of the one who did. Jesus, he declared that God has made this same Jesus both Lord and Christ. Paul also alluded to it when speaking on Christ ruling unto all the enemies under his feet in Corinthians 15:25. It's the picture of Jesus reigning until the final victory. Enemies made his footstool. The verse says the enemies of Christ will be made his footstool. That means total submission. Some bow now willingly, others will bow when it's too late. Philippians 2:10 says, every knee shall bow. Satan and sin, death, all are placed under his feet. The cross looked like defeat, but the resurrection and ascension proved his absolute triumph. The ongoing reign of Christ. Right now, Christ is seated at the Father's right hand, ruling over his church, interceding for his people, and reigning until the last enemy is destroyed. This isn't just a future reality, it's happening right now. The verse reminds us that history isn't spinning out of control. Jesus reigns, and his enemies will not prevail. What does this mean for us? This verse proves that Jesus is more than just a prophet, more than just a teacher. He is Lord. It calls us to submit, to trust in his authority, and to rest in his victory. If he reigns at God's right hand, then our lives aren't in a grip of chance. Our King rules, and our hope is secure.